One more point. Just one more point. That's exactly what FC Barcelona needs to escape the Europa League this season, okay? Just one more point and Barcelona doesn't have to play Europa League. Now, for a moment, let's just set aside everything that transpired in this game as FC Barcelona beat Shakhtar Donetsk by 2-1 at home. And let's just breathe a big sigh of relief because one more point is all Barcelona needs to avoid hearing that Europa League anthem. I can't even that. Oh no. Okay, it's too haunting. Sounds like they're saying no, like literally. Okay, so no thanks to nah. And I'm happy that Barca are at least 1 point away. Then we can talk now about the performance because while Barcelona did get this win courtesy of two first half goals by Ferran Torres and Fermin Lopez, it was far from a satisfactory result at the end. And well, anyway, we'll get into why that was later on when we're talking negatives and positives. But otherwise, hello everyone and welcome to Blaugrana Everything, and welcome back to the channel. And also to those who are new here, you are welcome. This is a match review, and what I do with my match reviews usually is I will talk about the negatives and positives from the team's performance, and then we'll go into team rating. I'll give my ratings for the team and then for the manager for picking a man of the match. So that's exactly what I'm about to do. So if this is your first time here, once again, welcome. Feel free to hit that like button, to hit that subscribe button. We recently hit 5k subs, guys, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you very much for your support. It always just, it gives me that warm, fuzzy feeling in my heart. It was like watching Mark Gue score that goal against Bilbao. Anywho, enough of all the other stuff, and let's get straight into what I didn't like about this game. We're going into the negatives and positives, and as usual we start with the negatives. And man, this is something which is my first negative that has been basically like a plague on this channel for the entire existence of this channel. Almost, I have always bemoaned FC Barcelona's profligacy, FC Barcelona's lack of clinical finishing in front of goal, FC Barcelona's wasteful finishing, and today was no different. That was exactly what went wrong in this game. It ended up being quite a dodgy affair towards the end. But the reason that is because Barcelona were wasteful with so many chances that they had where they could have scored 3, 4, even 5 goals in this game. But the chances just were not taken. Obviously, there were some offside goals. We're not going to count those. But I was reading somewhere and I saw that since Xavi Hernandez took over at FC Barcelona, no team in Europe has created more goal scoring chances than FC Barcelona. Okay? No team in the entire of Europe has created more chances, not Man City, not Arsenal, not whoever. But do you know what? Barcelona isn't the team that has scored the most goals during that time. Yeah. Since Xavi took over, Barca are not the team that has scored the most goals, despite being the team that has created the most chances. Barca aren't even the team who have scored the second most goals. In fact, Barca are like the 5th most when it comes to goal scoring during Xavi's tenure, and that just points to where everything is wrong, which is why sometimes it's hard really to even point the finger at the defending, or point the keeper at the goalkeeper, or point the finger at Xavi himself, because the team wastes so many chances. If Barcelona just put their chances away, they wouldn't have to worry. So for today, we should be thankful we actually managed to score those 2 goals during the first half, because if not, this could have easily been a game that would have ended 1-0. And that for me is probably the biggest negative coming away from this, and it's also probably compounded by the fact that Barca really weren't able to build the momentum that you would have wanted them to at least have going into an El Clasico, okay? Like if Barca turned over Shakhtar 3-0 here, or even just 2-0, kept it at the 2-0 and, saw the game off, we'd be like, this team is looking like it's playing with confidence, with self-belief, with all of those good things which you need going into an El Clasico. And right now, you can't shake the feeling that it's going to be a bit shaky. Barcelona will go into El Clasico on some very shaky ground, especially with Yet another injury, which again is my negative here. This time it's Joao Felix. I mean, even guys who aren't Barcelona players are getting injured at this point. Joao Felix is an Atleti player, and you know what? He is not immune to the injury curse that is plaguing Barca right now. And you really have to worry about Joao Cancelo because right now, we don't even have Sergio Roberto fit. So if Joao Cancelo goes down with an injury, like, we've got no options at right back. So that was once again another negative. That one, of course, you can't really put it down to anybody like tactics or whatever. Nah, it's just one of those things which happens when you're at Barca. But thankfully, going into some of our positives, despite all of that, Barcelona once again, like I said at the beginning of this video, are on the verge of escaping Europa League. And look, I always like to go with the positives after the negatives because I want to keep a positive outlook on things. And right now, it's a very positive outlook that Barcelona has, looking at the fact that they're in complete control of this group and they need just one more point from their next 3 games. Okay? So that means we don't have to play guys like Joao Cancelo and Joao Felix so much. We could rest them. So, let's get that 1 point, guys. Let's get into the knockout stages. I mean, Barca could be one of the first teams to qualify for the knockouts. Wouldn't that be nice? Anywho, I'll go to my other positive from this performance, which I thought, the first half. Like, look, overall in this game, Barcelona, if you look at the stats, they'll tell you that Barcelona definitely deserved the win that they got, right? I mean, they had about twice as many shots almost that Shakhtar Donetsk had, 6 times as many shots on target, so the Shakhtar goalkeeper did a good job. I mean, Shakhtar only had 1 shot on target. But in particular, I think that first half by Barcelona was quite good, okay? I mean, of course, that's when Barca did score all of their goals, but just generally the movement that we saw, in particular with Lamine, with Fermin, with Ferran, and also with Felix, it was just, I just realized we had like 3 Fs on that side, I don't know, maybe that's the thing. Anyway, but like the movement that we saw from that front 3, including Fermin Lopez, was really just a dream. And having Gundogan on the ball just to, pull those strings, everything just looked so awesome during that first half in particular. And, if we can do more of that, even in our Clásico, if we can play a bit more like that, because right now it's hard to know who to mark because there's no Lewandowski. So Ferran Torres could be making that run into the box, Fermin could be making that run into the box, or Joao Felix if he wasn't injured. But yeah, that was definitely another positive from this. But I'll move on from the positives and the negatives, and we're going to talk team and manager rating. And this is where it gets a bit tricky here, okay? Because you can't argue with the fact that the manager setup, for example, worked, and that this team did what the manager would have wanted it to do, not just to win, but create a lot of goal-scoring opportunities. So from the manager's side, I think this would be one of the few times when I'll give a higher manager rating than I'll give a team rating, because my team rating here was a 6 out of 10. Of course, this could have probably been an 8 out of 10 performance, but there was just that one moment where everyone went to sleep, where Joao Felix decided to go for a shot when he even had like Lamine free in the box he could have passed to, and from that blocked shot, Shakhtar just go down the other end. Romeo is caught out of position, and Ter Stegen decides not to come out to play like a sweeper keeper that we know he is. And basically the Shakhtar guy is just unchecked and has a free shot, which, to be honest, was also a very good finish that he managed to score from there. So that, I think, is down to the team. Okay, that's a moment in which the team, small individual parts of the team failed, and as a result, I'm giving the team rating of 6 out of 10. But the manager rating this time around, for me, I think it's 8 out of 10, because you can't really argue that Xavi didn't get his homework and even some of his rotation right. The only thing maybe you could have done differently is to pull Joao Felix off earlier, but you can't do that with the game still in the balance the way that it was. So yeah, it's it's one of those things. Hopefully Barca work on that in future, and let's just get out of this group, guys. Let's just get into the knockout rounds of the Champions League. Anywho, moving on from the team and manager rating, now we talk the man of the match, and this is probably the one thing which I had a hard time with, because Fermin Lopez in particular and Ferran Torres during that first half were quite good, but it's hard to pick between the two of them. Like, who do you go with? I was going to go with Ferran. Ferran Torres played the entire 90 minutes. Fermin didn't, so we're going to go with Ferran Torres just on that technicality. Even though both Fermin and Ferran, in this game, both had disallowed goals and both were, just generally very, very effective. But hey, that Fermin Lopez goal was assisted by Ferran Torres. So, Ferran Torres, you get the man of the match, Mr. Shark Boy himself. And that's just about that for me, guys. Let me know your thoughts. What did you think of that performance and of the results? Are you happy with either of them? And, just let me know your thoughts. Yeah, aside from that, I thank you all for tuning in. I look forward to the El Clasico, seeing you after that. Hopefully it goes not embarrassingly, because right now it's a bit worrying with this Joao Felix injury. But yeah, aside from that, I thank you all for tuning in. To have a great day, and Forza Barca.